race, obviously we're going to go through some significant track changes right now. You won this race a year ago, much different conditions. How much of a challenge is that from the seat to adjust to what you think the track's going to go to later?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a lot different than what we had last year. Obviously much cooler and overcast. It was raining pretty good at the end of that run, so we've had to dial her back a little bit there just to keep the Tire Pro Chevy in one piece. But yeah, no, it's just going to be a challenge. Obviously, I think we would all love, everybody here, right, within a 50-mile radius would love for the sun to come out right about now. So all us drivers and teams feel the same way. We want to get this race going. Thanks to all these fans that stuck it out here to watch this race in today. And, we'll just see what happens. Hopefully the sun can come out, we can make some adjustments and get this 8 car as fast as Xfinity 10G.
Good luck the rest of the day. I'm still trying to figure out what the sun is. We haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, it's a lost cause for sure at this point. But man, I was optimistic about today that it was going to clear out, but it will. It just take a little more time.
Thanks, Josh. Josh?
Over here with Justin Haley, originally not supposed to do the double. Now you're doing 900 miles today. So what's the last 24 hours been like for you?
Hopefully 900 miles. That's the goal. Yeah, I'm not really sure why I'm out here, but just thankful to be driving this number 10 LA Golf Chevrolet Camaro. Felt pretty good there. It was obviously raining a good bit, but man, it's tough to hop back in an Xfinity car at a mile and a half. I haven't done this in over a year and a half at a mile and a half, so it's been tough, but I feel like we're decent, and yeah, I don't know. It's really hard. I'm not in my own seat. I'm in Kyle's seat, obviously, and me and Kyle aren't really the same size, so I'm sliding around a little bit out there, but having a lot of fun. These Xfinity cars are a blast to drive, and I'm excited to get back to it here in a second and hopefully drive to the front.
Did you get a read on what you need out there, even with the rain coming down?
I feel like I was in a spaceship there for a while. I can't explain enough how different an Xfinity car is from a Cup car these days, and especially, like I said, just getting used to the tires and the truck arms and everything. It's a lot, but at the end of the day, it's still a race car, and you're going to drive as fast as you can. So, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, we can get racing. I feel like I've been running in the rain or sitting in the rain for a while. What would be really bad is if it got called off and then we ran the Cup car and then we got back in the Xfinity car later. I'd be all messed up. But like I said, thanks to Matt Collig for calling me last night and wanting me to drive his race car. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks, Justin. Good luck the rest of the way. Guys?
It's been a good year for Collig in the Xfinity Series. 3 wins, 2 in that 10 car, courtesy of A.J. Allmendinger and Kyle Larson. Let's go back, and we heard some interviews. Sheldon Creed, Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer talking about the incident on pit road and the contact. Walk me through this, fellas.
Well, when you come in as a leader, you feel like you're going to do a good job getting on pit road. And when we talk about the importance of pit stops, I know we think about the pit crew, but you getting stopped on your sign, the timing for those tire changes, they have a certain mark that they want you to stop on, so they're in the right place. And when you throw that off, it messes up the whole sequence. You see also, Michael, he's a little bit too close to the wall, so now the jackman's having a hard time getting the car jacked up. And the reason this pit stop is so important is because the sequence of events that now happens. He has a bad pit stop, so it's going to affect him, but as he exits pit road, you see Cole Custer's on his outside. Sheldon Creed gets into him. Cole Custer's done nothing wrong in all this, Michael, but now we think he might have to come down pit road and work on his car because of a mistake that Justin Allgaier feels like he made getting in his pit stall.
Yeah, he slid through, and Jamie, we know how hard these pit crews practice. Hours and hours all week long, choreographing the stops perfectly. And when you mess it up as a driver, it just hurts your heart.
Oh, you could tell he was so frustrated with himself, right?
Yeah, you just want to do perfect stops so the boys can do their job and get those 13, 14-second pit stops and get you back out in the lead. And he just sort of feels like he let his team down with that stop.
100%. And if you have to come around somebody, or if there's a tire on pit road that you have to come around, that's going to be an issue. But when you come in as a leader, you're expected to come in, stop on your pit stall, and be in the right place. And I think that's why you saw him so frustrated.
And his defense a bit, it was damp down there, so you got to take that into consideration. But the pit road was a little bit damp, and he just overestimated the grip he was going to have stopping in his box.
He was pitting midway down pit road. Number 1 pit stall, John Hunter Nemechek drives out, and he was the best of the bunch. So what he lost on that opening run, he got back on pit road. Ryan Sieg stayed out there. He's the race leader. Red flag is out as the mist continues at Charlotte. This live from Charlotte Motor Speedway on FS1 is part 1 of our NASCAR doubleheader, and you can see they are uncovering the cars. We got 20 laps in got a competition caution. The mist picked up here at Charlotte, so they decided to put out the red flag, but we are closing on being ready to go one more time. I like this.
You got that right, Adam, and visibly you can see the skies are brightening a bit. Things are looking more positive, and the track is dry. The drivers are going to go out there and get a feel for it, and if the mist holds off, we will go back racing shortly. How'd you like that call?
I like the idea of getting the cars back out there. I think that will help drive the track and get those guys back in the right gear. Look, it was all those guys talked about how heavy the mist was, but they were able to race. So if we can get it started again, hopefully be caution free for a while and get some laps in.
We get to race 900 miles today. How about that?
Let's put that in perspective. 900 miles from Charlotte Motor Speedway. If you're driving, you could get to Key West.
That's your favorite vacation spot, right, Adam?
Yeah. You can do round trip to Pittsburgh or Nashville. Get up to Boston. St. Louis, where we're going next week.
Yeah, we can get a head start.
You ever driven 900 miles in a day?
No.
No, zero chance, right?
I drove 800 here one day.
I did too, with you, actually.
We were in that both in that race.
That's right.
That was in the fall when we had a rain out, ran both Cup and Xfinity on the same day.
If I remember correct, after the Cup race, I looked fresh, and Michael didn't.
Well, you're quite the athlete, Jamie, and so everybody knows that you're a marathon runner, a triathlete.
If I remember correct, you were a marathon runner at that time as well.
Well, I remember so vividly racing that morning in the Xfinity car, and then going to the bus and spending 3 or 4 hours just trying to get myself freshened up and ready to go
again. I think we went and got IVs, and didn't we? I think everybody at that time went and got IVs, and it was fun. We both had good cars, if I remember correct, in both races that day, and that makes it so much easier if you're going to have to do one of these double headers.
There's Ty Gibbs. He's doing all 900 today, driving the 19 car before getting in the 54 this evening. Home to iconic wins for Secretariat, Seattle Slew, and American Pharoah. The most famous final furlong in the history of racing is coming to Fox. Don't miss the 2023 Belmont Stakes, June 10th only on Fox.
It's going to be quite the final furlong, Adam. That's one of the most exciting moments in sports.
We had fans tweeting us the other night how many furlongs we had left in that truck race. I don't remember what that math equation was, so I'm just going to let that one lay there. You know, you're living right because you were in the studio all day yesterday when it rained.
Now I'm here to train.
You come out here, and we're going to throw it to the studio to get you out of work.
I looked out today. I think we did 4.5, 5 hours of rainfall. There they are.
Throw it to Shannon, Jamie.
Shannon, can you hear us?
Hey. What's up, Jamie? I feel like we're at Michigan in 2008. I was just telling these guys.
We thought we would let you guys enjoy a little bit of rainfield today with us.
Hey, Shannon, let me say this, though. The man 2 over from you, David Reagan, looks a whole lot better than the driver that was sitting there yesterday. Let me say that.
Well, I'm fresh, Adam. They called me, and I was sitting on the bench, and they said, you're going in, David. Come on. So I had a good night's rest last night.
Yeah, David Reagan, the 6th man today in studio. We'll take it for a few minutes, let you guys get a bathroom break, get something to eat, whatever you need to do before this race gets started. America's crew chief Larry McReynolds, of course, David Reagan. Listen, I mean, it's raining, it's not raining, it's raining, it's not raining. We did get 25 laps in. So as a crew chief, you're saying what to your driver about what they can identify about what they learned?
Yeah, I don't know that we learned a whole lot because I get a feeling that racetrack was a little bit damp the entire time from the drop of the green flag. And I told David Reagan, I said, you mark my word, we're going to get that competition caution at lap 20. And we're going to have pit stops, and before we can go back green, the mist is going to pick up, and lo and behold, that's exactly what's happened. I'd be hard-pressed to read a lot into those first 20 laps. The track was very green with no rubber, and I think it actually had a little bit of moisture on it.
Then you lied to me, because when I sat down here, I said, so once this thing goes
you're
green,
my driver, so I'm going to tell you what you want to hear.
We're going racing, right? I mean, this is going to be good. What can you learn, or how do you kind of approach those 25 laps from in the car?
Yeah, from a driver's perspective, Shannon, it's so hard to get in a rhythm. You know, first off, it's been 48 hours since these race cars were on the racetrack Friday afternoon. A lot of these drivers went back home. They took it easy the last couple of days. So to show up at the racetrack, you're kind of off your rhythm anyway. You finally get buckled in. You're ready to go racing. And then it's so frustrating when you fire off, your car's doing one thing. You see the mist on your windshield, and you heard a few drivers kind of voice their uncertainty almost. Well, I didn't know if it was the racetrack changing change in grip levels, if it was my race car changing a little bit. So they're a little unsure on what feedback to give to their crew chief. They're trying to be a little conservative, not to tear anything up. So it's very hard to get into that rhythm. They want to get back in the race car so they can make sure they understand what's going on.
The good thing is we go back racing, and we will go back racing. We're going to only have about 20 laps until the end of stage 1. So that'll give them another read, another measuring stick about where their car actually stacks up.
Yeah, and then you hear guys like Parker Kligerman, whose car is really good. Do you just say, whoa, buddy, take it easy. Don't get too optimistic, because we don't really know what this track is going to be like once we get back out there.
Well, you shouldn't have as big of a swing in track temperature today. It should stay fairly consistent. You know, once they do get back on the racetrack, that racetrack takes a little bit of rubber. I do feel like the cars that were really good when they fired off will probably still have some speed in them. But if my driver's happy and excited, I'm going to try to harness that and say, all right, you go out there and keep being aggressive, because it is, even though it's a rain-delayed race, they've been in and out of the race car, this race is still going to award a checkered flag to somebody, and it's an important race, so you got to keep that driver focused and really have the big picture and not let that escape.
Sounds like Cole Custer is going to be fun to watch, because based on damage on pit road, sounds like they're going to bring that 00 back in, make some repairs just so he doesn't cut a tire down. He's got a fast 00 car, so he will be trying to make as much hay as he can before the end of stage 1.
Is that like, hey, make
that's
as much
like get it all you can while you can.
Hey, let's look at the playoff leaderboard. Why don't we? As we see those cars heading out to the track, I guess the jet dryers have pulled off. But this is the playoff leaderboard after 11 races. We've got Austin Hill, who I'm sure we will speak to at some point today, and John Hunter Nemechek. Those guys have been the class of the field all season long. Chandler Smith right behind him in 3rd, Jeb Burton in 4th, and Sammy Smith in 5th. And the cutoff line right there, you've got the previous champ, Daniel Hemrick, and Parker Kligerman kind of hugging that playoff line right there in 12th and 13th. One guy that you don't see on there I want to ask you about real quick is Justin Haley. We heard from him during that rain delay, and he said he's sliding around in that seat because, of course, he was called in to race for Kyle Busch, who is no longer going to be in this race racing the Cup Series. Have you ever experienced that? I know that you used to do the double duty stuff and go back and forth, but have you ever been like sliding around because the seat is not right for you?
Yeah, I've had to fit in Mark Martin's seat before, where my knees were almost at the steering wheel and I was hunched over. Then I've had to, drive some for a Carl Edwards or someone that was a little bigger. And so it's so uncomfortable. You're trying to hold yourself up. You're trying to get comfortable and also try to think about the race car. And Justin talked about it in his interview, Shannon. It's been a year or two since he's been in one of these Xfinity cars. The Xfinity cars drive a lot different than the next-gen cars that he's racing every weekend on Sundays. And so it's a little bit of a challenge to get that call late on Sunday night, show up at the racetrack early. He had to start at the back of the pack. He's running P16 right now. So he has made up a lot of spots. And I think he's a great little race car driver. I think they'll continue to work on that race car. He looked like he was smiling and having a little bit of fun, but he's got a long day in front of him.
He does.
Yeah, the biggest thing when I look at those points, and I heard this morning, at this point last year, Junior Motorsports had already won 3 or 4 races. They dominated this race a year ago with Josh Berry going to victory lane, and here we are more than a third of the way through their entire season. Junior, they have a lot of drivers above the cut line, every driver except Brandon Jones, who's had a little bit of a rough start over there, but they have not found victory lane, and we're almost a third of the way or over a third of the way through the season. It's really hard to believe.
Yeah, Justin Allgaier obviously starting this race on the pole, but he did get some damage on pit road during that pit stop, so we'll see how that kind of evolves. You mentioned kind of dominating, right? It's not Junior Motorsports' year so far to dominate, but the 2 drivers who really have been dominating are Austin Hill and John Hunter Nemechek. Take a look at that. 5 wins combined between the 2 of those. Top 5s, top 6, average finish in the top 10, and they are just leading laps. And these are the 2 that we're really kind of looking at. So I know this is kind of like, listen, we haven't rehearsed, we don't know what we're doing, we're just kind of going for it. But I'm going to give you John Hunter Nemechek, I'm going to give you Austin Hill, and just kind of tell me why that's the one that you're watching.
Well, it has speed every single week. It doesn't matter what type of a racetrack. But I will say this, whether it's Austin Hill or John Hunter Nemechek, we leave Charlotte. 3 of the next 4 races we're going road course racing, including the streets of downtown Chicago. That's going to tell us a lot. It could end up separating those 2 out, because outside of that, everything they've done this year is almost a mirror of each other.
Yeah, they're within 1 point of each other in the point standings. But what I've been impressed with Austin Hill about, Shannon, is got those wins so early in the year. And for him to be able to come out and win at Las Vegas, his only career wins before that were at Daytona and in Atlanta, both super speedway style racing. So when I think of Austin Hill and that RCR team, I didn't really expect them to be championship contenders, but getting 3 wins this early in the seasons, he's coming off back-to-back top 5s at Dover and Darlington. So they do have some speed in that Chevrolet out of RCR. And so as Austin Hill continues to mature as a driver, get better, those road courses like Larry talked about, they will be so important for setting the tone this summer.
Yeah, I've not talked to Austin Hill or his crew chief Andy Street, but I am a little concerned where they're at the shorter tracks, at the road courses. I think that's right now maybe where John Hunter Nemechek holds a little bit of an advantage, but as we get through the summer months, that'll tell us a lot about that.
Give me another name, someone else besides John Hunter Nemechek and Austin Hill, who is going to be a player to make that top 4.
His last name's Smith, and there's 2 of them.
I mean,
Chandler Smith and Sammy Smith, they have been so impressive this year. Both of them have found victory lane. Sammy Smith, a little inconsistent with his finishes, but I think once these 2 young drivers get more time, we start maybe going back to some racetracks for a second time, I think they can really move toward the forefront.
Yeah, I want to shine a spotlight on Cole Custer, one of the guys below that win column right now. He was so off the first few races this year, but he's really hit a stride. The last 5 races, he's got top 10s in all of those, Shannon. And when I look at him, he's got the most experience out of a lot of those guys. So I think he's just scratching the surface. And once he can find victory lane, I think he's going to be a threat this summer and certainly going into the playoffs.
That's been the interesting dynamic is Stewart-Haas Racing. You have Riley Herbst in that 98 car, could do no wrong when the season started.
Yeah.
Top 10s week in and week out. Cole Custer couldn't find one. You look at the last month or so, they went this way. Riley Herbst can't even hardly find a top 20, and now Cole Custer is clicking those top 5s, top 10s off.
All right, that's big picture for who's good on the season. Let's take a look at who's good at Charlotte, right? We've got the best average finish of active drivers at this specific racetrack. So kind of who you might want to keep your eye on. There's your guy right there, Cole Custer. Larry, you just mentioned him. Daniel Hemrick, Jeb Burton, Justin Allgaier, Brett Moffitt, and Brandon Jones. These are the guys who have the best average finish with a minimum of 3 starts at this racetrack. You already talked Cole. Maybe let's talk Daniel Hemrick a little bit, and then we could go Jeb, Brandon, or Brett. Let's start with Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel Hemrick has been one of those guys that is always just right under that spot where he can lead some laps, he can have solid finishes, but he just struggles finding victory lane. Now, he's got a lot of victories on the Legends Car racetrack on the quarter mile at Charlotte Motor Speedway, but, you know, I think he's the flagship car for Colleague Racing, and he needs a win. You know, I think that would propel those guys to have a little bit more confidence, and his teammates have been able to get some wins in that all-star car for Colleague. So, yeah, he's got a great average finishing position at Charlotte over his career. So I know he wants another shot at a victory lane today.
You want to go Jeb with Jordan Anderson Racing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously got that win at Talladega. And that team, that organization, they're still growing. But he has had good speed so far this week. Qualified up inside the top 10. I don't know that they had that great of a pit stop. But definitely I think that would be the next rung in the ladder for that organization is let's get a solid run, maybe good top 5s at the intermediates. We know we can win at the super speedways, but honestly, going back to that list, I think Justin Allgaier in that 7, whether it's Cup, Xfinity, or trucks, experience just seems to prevail at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Nobody has more experience than Justin Allgaier. He's already proved he's got speed in practice on Friday, in qualifying, and I think he's going to be just fine. Honestly, I felt like he slid through his pits because that concrete pit road, pit box was a little bit wet.
Yeah. All right, well, let's not forget what this day is really about, right? It's about racing, obviously, but it's also Memorial Day. So all of you at home that are joining us for our coverage today, staying out holding out the rain and continuing to stay with us, we thank you very much. And of course, we thank all of the servicemen and servicewomen for all of their service to our country. Adam, I think I saw cars on the racetrack, which is a very good sign as we get ready to maybe get this thing started again. Back to you, Jamie and Michael.
Thank you so much, Shannon. I want to go back to what Larry was talking about and Justin Allgaier. He's won 19 times in his career. He's never won here at Charlotte. And I asked him about boxes he wants to check. He's never won at Daytona, Talladega. I know he would love to win here. He said, I want to get up north of 24 wins because that's how many career wins Dale Jr. had, the boss man. I want to pass him. I said, that would be a fun trophy to deliver on Monday morning, would it not?
There's
you guys can add if you want. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'll tell you what I'm going to add, Adam. I want to dial up to 39 of Ryan Sieg. He's leading this race. Get a report what the track's looking like. Ryan Sieg, Michael Waltrip and the Fox team. Do you copy, buddy?
Gotcha, Mikey.
Well, I got a couple of questions. First of all, how's the track looking? How do you feel about going back racing? You can answer that. And then the second one, what's the strategy here? What's your plan to be able to win this race today?
Yeah, the track is much better. I was a little worried the last when I was in the lead last time, but much better now. And strategy, we're just trying to get the track position and put ourselves farther forward right here and try to hopefully win the race here, maybe a rain-shortened race here in Charlotte. So that's our strategy for our CMR Ford Mustang, just trying to get the track position and get up around here and see where we stack up against everyone else since we had an engine issue in practice. So just looking forward to getting going here. I want to say hello to my daughter. She broke her arm yesterday on her trampoline at home. So she had surgery this morning. Hopefully she's doing better.
Oh, that's sad. I'm glad you got to say hello to her. Love the family team. Love what y'all do. You were 39th at the start, 19th in the middle. Now you're first. That's awesome.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We're going to get the 1 to go next time around. Justin Allgaier 6th right now.
What do you think about the track? NASCAR's asking.
I think the track's fine. I mean, at this point, it's still better than it was when we were under green, so why not go?
That's the attitude. Let's go.
Chandler Smith 8th as we prepare for the restart.
I got a fuel pickup issue, but I'm in the banking and I go weave to the right and I try to press the throttle. It's not picking up the fuel.
Well, that's interesting because the tank's full, so I wouldn't. The banking shouldn't affect that pickup at all. And I would say if he's having a problem, it's something other than a pickup issue right now.
Are we coming to 1 to go, Adam?
1 to go, which means the choose. And we're going to have about 15 laps to go in the stage. And I'm really anxious to see how all these strategies play out because, you can get 15 laps on these tires. Do you stay out at the end of the stage and go on the same tires you used at the competition caution? How do you handle this?
Well, and everyone's going to see how Ryan Sieg performs on these 20-lap tires. If he's able to hang on, even if he can just hang on into the top 5, it's going to change the strategy, I think, of what some of the crew chiefs see on pit road. Look, historically, Charlotte, when it's a green racetrack like we had, it wears tires out for the first couple of stops. So I would think he's going to have a hard time hanging on, but you just never know. I like the fact he chose the outside, though. If he can get a good initial start, a good launch on those older tires, I think the outside is going to be the preferred lane, being in that traction compound in turns 1 and 2.
No matter what, everybody's going to hear, well, the 39 faded, or the 39, that's building confidence in your driver when you try to sell them your plan for strategy.
It's interesting to see Cole Custer, they elected to stay out. He said during that rain delay that he thought they might have to come down for that crush panel rubbing. We'll have to pay attention to that, see if we see any smoke out of the 00 car, but he's definitely one of the cars that's going to contend to win this race, and they've taken a little bit of a risk here, probably staying out.
Yeah, and that's interesting, too. I'm sure the crew were able to get a good eyeball on that car and see what they exactly needed to do, and they felt like it was okay. Don't want to give up that track position.
John Hunter Nemechek won the race off pit road. He's inside of our race leader, the control car, Ryan Sieg. Row 2, Ty Gibbs, Cole Custer, Creed Allgaier, row 3. We're back under the green flag at Charlotte.
Well, those guys knew Ryan was on old tires, did not want to mess with him. Cole Custer was able to get to his inside.
He just wanted to push, and he didn't get it. He
got and if you're Cole Custer, you can't push him because he's spinning the tires so bad. So all those crew chiefs now have made their decision that they will be putting tires on stage break.
You can see the 39 is settled in there on the outside, about 10th position. A big slip there by Custer on the outside.
getting a report there is a tire rub for the 00 Cole Custer.
See if we can see any smoke.
11's got the rub. I think you're fine. The 11 definitely has a rub. I see a little bit now. I did see a little bit on.
I mean, there's a little bit of a rub there, guys, but if that doesn't get worse, I'm not overly concerned. We saw in practice, Parker Kligerman and some of those other cars had pretty big tire rubs and didn't seem to affect the car.
Oh, there's a big slip by Sieg. He's up in front of the line on the outside as Kaz Gralla in the 26 goes by, and 3 wide behind them.
Yeah, in just 2 laps, he's went from being the leader, Ryan Sieg, back to 12th. So, yeah, tires just really important at the start of the race here.
You mentioned Kaz Gralla. Boy, he's having a good day. They were really bad in practice, not great in qualifying. Drove right up inside the top 20, being scored 11th right now as the 26.
Chandler Smith trying to work the bottom of the racetrack on Custer.
Yeah, and the one thing that the 00 is going to be able to do is when they come in and put tires on here in a little bit, they'll be able to look at that tire. Because if it's rubbing on the tread of the tire, that's not near as big of a deal as if it's on the sidewall of the tire. So they'll be able to evaluate how bad is that rub and if they need to come in and work on it again after the pit stop.
21 is Austin Hill. He's been quiet today, really quiet all weekend long. Back-to-back 4th place finishes for the driver that's won 3 times this year.
Yeah, and you know, Adam, you talked about some guys having good turns 1 and 2 in qualifying and a bad 3 and 4. He was on the pole by 2 or 3 tenths heading into turn 3, got really tight on the exit. We know that he was able to win at Vegas earlier this year on a 1.5 mile track. He definitely is one of those guys that you got to keep your eye on today. But Michael, look at Brett Moffitt. I mean, all race long, right around the top, and has been able to make that work for him.
I've had my eye on him since the beginning. And right behind him is Josh Berry. Josh closing into the top.
They're lined up there, no hole in between.
Into that top line as well.
Yeah, the one thing right here that you see out Brett Moffitt's front windshield is that Riley Herbst moved up in front of him. That's going to make it a lot more difficult for him.
We check out our Toyota top performers. They're 1-2. Drivers from Joe Gibbs Racing, Nemechek leading Gibbs. Sammy Smith from 18th to 12th, and saw the rest of the lineup there. Not a bad day for the guys from Sam Hunt Racing.
Sheldon Creed electing to try that high side as Justin Allgaier closes in.
Yeah, and one thing to watch, guys, is when you see, like we watched Justin Allgaier as he enters the corner 1 and 2, but mainly into turn 3, you know he's driving the car hard, and when he's able to stay on that white and blue line and not slide up, like right there, he's able to see slid up just a little bit. Once you slide up just that little bit, you have to roll out of the gas, and he was committed to trying to slide up in front of Sheldon Creed in that corner, but it's so important to keep that left front, your left side's on that line.
What about Justin? He said, I did all that working past you, and now you're going to make me do it all over again. You crossed him right back over. In the Xfinity Series, heck and all, oh, that's close. In all of NASCAR, these guys just charge every lap.
Yeah, and you know, Justin, we saw the frustration. He felt like he had made a mistake on pit road, so he's doing everything he can to get back to the front. Look, this is a very similar battle as we saw with Allgaier and Ty Gibbs earlier. Ty Gibbs has what appears to be the best car today. He's been able to track the leader down now twice. But it's about figuring out how to make that pass. He's trying to make it on the bottom, but as that leader moves up and gets into the traction compound, it's so hard to complete that. I think what he's going to have to do is figure out how to enter higher on the entry to the corner and just run an overall higher line around the track. John Hunter's leaving him just a little bit on the outside. To me, I would start working that outside groove and seeing if I could get to the right rear quarter panel.
And you know this, Jamie, the spotter says, take his air away. He's running up, making some ground. You go up there. These drivers are just constantly in communication with their spotters and their team to understand who's running where and how to best take advantage of the other drivers.
Yeah, I mean, it's where your spotter comes into play. You're looking at your rearview mirror, and you're wanting verification from that spotter of what you see out of the mirror. Is that exactly what he's seeing from the top? And as you say, kind of driving out of the back of the car, just trying to take air away.
5 laps to go on the stage. Teammates racing for position. The 9, Brandon Jones. The 1, Sam Mayer. Josh Berry continues the climb.
What about Daniel Hemrick up in the 3rd spot, having a good run here?
He's a sleeper at Charlotte. 2nd here a couple of years ago. Led a bunch of laps. I think it was 2021, his championship year, when you felt like he was going to win this race.
Watch this crossover. Josh Berry sees what Riley Herbst is doing and says, I'll take it on the low side.
Yeah, they've been battling back and forth. Josh Berry obviously won here last year. He's really good at giving up a little bit on entry. You see he's going to give up a little bit of speed on entry, but now he's able to get back to the gas right there, drive right around the outside of the corner on the top side of the racetrack, and has all the momentum down the straightaway now.
There's Carson Hocevar in that 77, up 10 spots since the restart, so he's doing a nice job again today. He's going to try to slip inside of Herbst.
Yeah, now this is a much harder pass to complete because Riley, to me, is in the preferred lane. You're going to see he has the momentum on the exit of the corner. With Riley running that top of the racetrack, it's really hard to... Oh, we got a pass to the lead right there. It looks like John Hunter actually slipped up running that outside groove. Maybe the balance a little bit loose, but got a little too aggressive, lost some momentum, and Ty Gibbs was able to get back by.
Coming to 2 to go on the stage, and it's Ty Gibbs who jumps to the lead.
Oh, you see?
Brushed the wall.
Yeah, he hit that bump into turn 1 when the car landed, got into the wall a little bit. But you know what? The thing about these cars, and we talk about it every week on here, is because of that composite body, you just don't see a tire rub now. As long as there's no suspension damage, which I don't know that he hit hard enough to have that car is going to be just fine.
But Nemechek running for the championship. He wants all those points he can get, whether you're talking about winning the stage or getting another playoff point. And he's got 4 stage wins this year, but it looks like he's going to come up short in stage 1 at Charlotte. Allgaier goes back by Hemrick as they continue to race for 3rd. Final lap, first stage at Charlotte. Ty Gibbs leads.
How many crossovers have we seen already? I mean, they take advantage of that run off.
Yeah, the track, for not having any rubber on it and having to have this break with the rain, the track is extremely racy early on right now.
When Ty Gibbs won the championship last year, he won 10 stages. Won in his first Charlotte start in Xfinity competition 2 years ago. Good start to the day for the 19. Running 900 miles, and he wins stage 1. Does Ty Gibbs. Second to his teammate John Hunter Nemechek. Allgaier, Hemrick, Freed, the top 5. Good points for Chandler Smith. Austin Hill, who came in second in the championship, is 7th. Barry from the back to 8th. Cole Custer settles 9th, and Riley Herbst gets that last stage point.
Cole Custer was really into that caution, Adam. They're going to come in and check that 00 car out. He had fallen back somewhat.
Day night NASCAR, welcome in everybody. So what do we expect now? We've got roughly 150 laps to go in this thing.
You've got a bunch of confident race car drivers down behind those wheels. They know the track is perfect. They watch the Cup guys go 3-4 wide, racing from the apron all the way up to the outside wall. So I think we're going to see a barn burner. I think there's going to be a lot of action. Josh Berry's biggest mover in that first little stint there went from the back all the way up inside the top 15. So good move for him. Looking forward to seeing how they come off pit road. And let's go racing, Jamie.
Yeah, and Michael mentioned that earlier, the guys didn't know when they were sliding around if it was because of the balance of their car or was it because of the moisture on the racetrack. Well, the track's completely different now. We've got 600 miles of Cup racing on it, lots of rubber laid down. So it's going to be interesting to see who can make the right changes to their car for these new conditions.
It's so great that Ty Gibbs is leading this race, and I know he didn't get the finish he wanted in the
had a good run
600,
going, though.
But boy, did he put on a show in his first ever marathon night in NASCAR. That 54 was strong earlier this evening.
And what about our old booth mate, Blaney? Gets the big W in the Coke 600. Congratulations to Roger Penske pulling off the double.
History. Yeah, it was incredible to win both of those in the same weekend.
And to Blaney for breaking that massive losing streak he was on, right?
59 races.
Yeah.
That's no winless streak. You know that. Here are the numbers on Ty Gibbs. Boy, really good when it comes to racing on the intermediates. Won here in his first ever start a couple of years ago on a mile and a half in the Xfinity Series. Got it done right here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
He's just been so fun to watch since he came Xfinity racing with that first race down in Daytona. Like, where is this coming from? And he's just been that good ever since.
Yeah, he showed up. Little expectation on the road course at Daytona and goes out and beats some of the best late in that race to win it. And the star was born, wins the championship last year in his first year full time, and now going for Rookie of the Year in the Cup Series.
Yeah, and I just imagine as he signed up for this weekend that he thought, well, I'll run the Xfinity race and then go run the Cup race the following day. To do it in reverse order and both in the same day, Michael, that is quite a feat for that young man.
I guarantee you, though, he's ready to go and smiling. He thinks, I'm going to put that 600 in my rearview mirror and go win me a trophy.
This is what's unbelievable about his 2 starts here. 2021, he has that spin, comes back and gets the victory. And that was a wild afternoon. I remember sitting up here in the booth. It was a driver's only broadcast. So he wins, and I think I'm right in saying he's the youngest Xfinity winner ever at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Last year, he comes back here, has a problem, finished second. So he pretty much has this place figured out in an Xfinity car.
Yeah, and it's been so interesting to me with Ty Gibbs because last year, lots of controversy. It seemed like every time he'd win a race, somebody was mad at him for that. This year in the Cup Series, though, he's done a really good job of staying out of trouble and not being the story every week, but also still getting really good finishes.
That number 20 Mobil 1 Toyota of John Hunter has the side scraped off of it. He slid up and outside wall, as we saw in our highlights earlier. So the team will probably pull on a fender or see what they've got there when they come to pit road. Be interesting to see how this pit stop goes down for this team.
Yeah, and for he had that incident right before the rain came at the end of stage 1. The crew guys have looked that thing over up and down. They have a really good plan of what they're going to need to do here. But much like in the Cup Series, because of the composite bodies, it's just a game changer for when you get into the wall. That body seems to pop back out, and we just don't see the tire rubs you have in the past.
There are a few drivers you need to keep an eye on when they come down pit road for this cycle of stops, which will be the first time they've come down for service since they did it at the competition caution just past lap 20. You got Nemechek in the damage there. Sheldon Creed had contact with Cole Custer and Justin Allgaier. And we heard during our red flag coverage way back around noon Eastern time, Cole Custer said we're concerned. Obviously, they've ran some laps since then. They'll try to figure this thing out. But those are the drivers we probably need to keep an eye on if there would need to be any type of damage repair.
Yeah, and the one thing about Cole Custer is that we saw there was a little rub. We saw a little bit of smoke. But depending on where that crush panel is rubbing on the tire, and they're going to be able to see that when they make this pit stop, they'll know if they need to come back in and address that again.
Probably just go for it on this pit stop and then evaluate how the
100%,
tires look when they take them off.
Regan Smith, Josh Sims also doing double duty on pit road. Let's go to Regan. Here they are.
Adam, when we left off the 11 car, Daniel Hemrick, he needed some side bite. He also needed to be a little bit tighter on entry with his car. Not really sure, though, where the track's going to go right now in terms of adjustments that they need to make. He thinks it's going to be worse, whatever he's fighting earlier in the night. And Justin Allgaier, he was too tight on entry and exit, but he was already too tight in the middle, so he's not sure how they're going to get that fixed either. Josh?
Well, long day for Ty Gibbs in the 19 car. Goes from Xfinity to Cup back to Xfinity. Happy with that car earlier. We'll see if it stays that way. In terms of the 20 of John Hunter Nemechek, he brushed the wall earlier during stage 1. They had to pull out the right fender to fix that car up and give him 4 tires and fuel.
The number 1 pit stall has been enormous this weekend. Nemechek did not get the win off pit road there, but a lot of that was because it looked like they were pulling on that fender. He comes off second to his teammate, Ty Gibbs.
I think Ty would want to have a chat with us.
I think he's got to be feeling good about life right now.
I do too. Hey, Ty Gibbs, Michael Waltrip and the Fox team. Do you copy, bud?
Yes.
Been a long night. I know. I hope you got a second to tell us how you're feeling, and are you ready to go attack the rest of this Xfinity race?
Yeah, I think we've got a very fast Supra here. Just got to make the best of it. The great run a couple hours ago got taken out, so just got to keep rolling there.
All right, buddy, go get him.
He almost said Camry because he's used to driving the Cup car. Yeah. He's in the Supra now.
Well, you can tell he's frustrated, right? He had that, we talked about it, a great night going in the Coke 600 and got caught up in someone else's accident. So a little frustrated here, but I'll promise you if he gets out to the lead here, he'll forget about that. And if he can get a win tonight, he'll definitely will.
Talked about the drivers to watch coming down pit road, maybe spending some extra time. Cole Custer did. He's going to fall way back here, and we'll watch his progress as we begin our second stage.
Some of the guys pitting now a lap around. Stephen Parsons, you see the black car with the hood up. He was having problems getting his throttle wide open, so they taking this opportunity to try to get that squared away. Had a pretty optimistic about his chances here at Charlotte. Had a good opening few laps, but then the trouble started, so we'll see if they can get that squared. Other guys making some adjustments as they come down pit road.
Justin Allgaier being shown in the 4th position, led 21 laps early.
But I was below the lights. I don't know what happened right there, but I hit like a whole row of lights before I actually hit my lights.
I'm really mad right now. Okay?
All right, what happened?
You got to get up. He called you up. You got to get up.
Copy.
Well, it sounds like they're, a little frustrated with Justin because he didn't get out of the lane to block essentially as he was getting up to speed. But look, it's been a long day for everybody. That's not going to be the last bit of frustrations we hear. Jim Pullman's obviously a little frustrated, but just part of it, right, Michael?
Yeah, we're in great moods, though, aren't we?
We are. We sound way more excited than anyone on the radio so far.
We've been out there in circumstances like that. It feels so good to be here on Fox, and
so much
bringing
different.
the race to the people at home. And having some fun here. What was going on with that radio there, Regan?
Well, hey, guys, I'm still in a good mood down on here on pit road. Just so you know, everything's happy where I'm standing. The 7 car, though, what happened was the team felt like he should have been ahead of the 11 car as they went down pit road. Because he didn't get to the lights in time, they gave up that position. The 11 drove past him as they went further down pit road. And just to update the 00 of Cole Custer, you guys mentioned that left rear fender, a slow pit stop for him because they did have to take some extra time to fix the fender as we see Justin leaving pit road right now.
And that was all about the lights on the dash, not getting his speed as quickly as he needed to, and that's what was frustrated the crew. And Jamie, you know how important it is to do everything you can as a driver to take care of those pit crew guys so they can shine and show how good they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much easier to pass on pit road versus on the racetrack, so you're trying to get all you can.
Well, we talked about the importance of that #1 pit stall. John Hunter Nemechek has it after winning the pole at Darlington. Look at him working on that right side.
Yeah, and that fender's real. I saw him pull on that, and it's really soft. You saw that it actually broke away from where the fender meets the nose. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see. You see it split just a little bit there. They might try to get some bare bond or some tape on that the next stop, knowing how flexible that was.
And that's a big part of the handling here at Charlotte. You're running 180 miles an hour. You've got to have that fender up there for front downforce.
Well, and what they're going to hope for is that it doesn't start flapping, because when it starts flapping, that's when air gets underneath it and you can see it cause an issue. If it doesn't do that, it's going to be okay.
Penalties there for the 4 of Smithley, the 74 at Cram. They start at the rear. Free pass goes to Stephen Parsons. As we talked about, they were having carburetor issues. They'll make the change there under caution as we hit the choose in anticipation of the beginning of our second stage.
Ty Gibbs takes the outside.
Yeah, not completely surprised by that. It did seem like in the Cup race that outside was a great lane, especially as you get down into turns 1 and 2. They get up into the traction compound. Seems like the guy on the bottom's got his hands full, especially arrow-wise, but also just because there's not quite as much grip on the bottom.
We got some other fun things going on, Adam. Heart rate monitor. What do you think about that?
Sammy Smith.
Sammy Smith's going to give us what's going on inside his body.
Now, if you've met him, you would say Sammy doesn't get really excited. He's pretty low-key, but when you look at that heart rate monitor, we saw during practice Friday, got up like 165. When he qualified, I was a little disappointed. I thought he'd be on the chip. First time he's qualified at Charlotte, it was right around 130, and that's where he is right now. Looking forward to this restart.
That thing should jack up when they go down. My heart rate does when you go. I know sitting in the booth it does, because this gets so crazy on these restarts. They're going to be 3 wide for sure.
It's funny you say that, because I always wonder if fans at home get as excited on the restarts as what we do, because we know what it's like to be in the car. Your adrenaline gets pumping. My heart starts racing when we get to all these restarts. I always wonder if that's a driver thing or if that's just in general.
We'll follow the progress of Cole Custer, restarting 33rd after they repaired the damage. Front row, teammates from Joe Gibbs Racing, Ty Gibbs, John Hunter Nemechek, and we'll follow the progress of their teammate via his heart rate monitor. We're back under green at Charlotte.
And there's that 3 wide I talked about.
Sheldon Creed getting with it in the outside lane. He's driving the 2.
That's a fast number 2 also. I think he's going to be tough tonight.
I think they motivated Allgaier. 7 pretty quick on the restart.
Yeah, there's so much momentum on that outside lane. You see John Hunter's fighting back at the bottom of turns 3 and 4, but when they get on the straightaway, the outside just tends to have all the momentum, and it's a struggle for if they're on the bottom.
Chandler Smith and Daniel Hemrick right up in there with those College cars. That's fast cars here early on. A little bit of smoke. We saw that earlier out of the 11.
Yeah, we've seen that out of a few cars this weekend. It doesn't seem to be a concern, and it does tend to go away after the air pressures build up. I'm not sure. Now, that looks a little bit more than what we've seen in the past. He might have had a little bit of contact, Michael, with somebody.
9 is Brandon Jones. Coming outside of him, teammate the 1, Sam Mayer. Top 5 here a season ago.
Brandon Jones looks loose down on the bottom. You see him slipping up the hill there. Riley Herbst in that number 98 monster car pulling up on his tail end.
Yeah, Justin Haley, who's filling in for Kyle Busch, you see right there in the 10 car. complained a little bit about it's not his seat. You know, he and Kyle Busch obviously aren't the same size. Same thing though, another Colin car with the same tire up. So that makes you tend to think that it's almost a setup or a suspension, something that they've got going on, because we don't see any of the other cars doing it.
And these cars start with the air pressure a little bit lower, so there's more tire flex, and that's just how precise these cars are built. Those bodies are put right on those tires for aerodynamic purposes, so as soon as the tires come up, you see the smoke dissipates.
Been a big day for Haley, coming from the back, filling in for Kyle Busch. Ran the Coke 600, went the distance, top 15 finish there. Third Xfinity start of the year. This is the battle for third. And you got a little Hemrick, you got a little Allgaier, the 7-11.
Hemrick's strong. You see that smoke's going away. He's going to make that pass on Allgaier, and we know how strong Justin is. Power move early by Daniel Hemrick.
You see, Justin doesn't want to run in the wake of Hemrick. He's moved up into that traction compound. I'm going to say Justin's not happy with his car right now, though, because he was really good on the bottom on Friday in practice. He also mentioned that he thought that's where he had an advantage over some of these guys. So the fact that he's not able to run on that white and blue line, you see him trying to get down there right now, makes you think the handling's not. Ooh, it looks like he's loose. You see him sliding up right there. Handling's not where he wants it to be.
Let's check in on Cole Custer. Restarted outside the top 30 after that damage repair. Bottom left of your screen, biggest movers since the restart. He's plus 11 and trying to get some more, going after Parker Kligerman in the 48. And here it is, the Parker and Parker show. Kligerman in the 48. The 31 is Parker Retzlaff, the rookie from Wisconsin.
And Michael, we heard Parker Kligerman talk about his car before that rain delay. They thought they were really good around the top, but man, look at the speed of the Double Z. We're able to drive in a little harder and still get cut through the middle better than he was.
And we knew that was coming too, right? Is this a tire issue? What's going on with Hemrick?
Hemrick was up to third. He's now falling back and going to make a pit stop.
Looks like got a loose wheel. Pit for it, could be the left rear. Bring it to us when you need it. Bring it to us.
You guys heard it on the radio right there. He came on the radio about a half a lap ago, said left rear is loose, left rear is loose, had a wheel issue. Daniel Hemrick left side's only on this stop.
Well, and when you heard him say it could be the left rear, that's because Daniel was complaining I might have a loose wheel. So immediately what happens in that pit box is the crew chief looks to the tire changers and gives a thumbs up or a thumbs down. The rear tire changer definitely looked at him and said, hey, it might be the left rear. So when the driver says that and then the tire changer kind of verifies it, that's why you saw him come down pit road and not take a chance.
Here's a driver that came in on the playoff cut line. 33-point advantage over Parker Kligerman, who's on the outside looking in. Long way to go in the regular season, but something to monitor for a driver who's had a problem.
Raja Caruth dives into turn 3.
515.
You love this circle.com on board, don't you, Michael?
Yeah, his driver eye camera just makes my day. When I see the cars bouncing around and the driver in there wrestling with that car, that's what it's all about. We'll get to see some of that as this race goes on.
He scored 27th, but 26th actually is where he is in the running order after a solid run Friday night here in the Craftsman Truck Series. 20 of 40.
I saw you wiggling.
I like to watch you dance, Adam. You've got some nice moves.
Let's not do the booth on camera now. I think we should keep it on track.
Jamie, you mentioned it. Is that right front fender flapping around? And I don't see anything there. I think that car's in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, I would feel really good about that. And I'm sure they're paying attention as we zoom in on that. I wouldn't be surprised, though, Michael, if they don't try to stick a piece of tape on that at the pit stop just to make sure that there's no issues. Because the one thing that can happen is when they go to put tires on, is you yank that right front tire off, you can catch it, right, and tear it up even more. So they're probably going to try to get a piece of tape on that. But it looks to me like it's good to go. His lap times are, I mean, he's matching actually a little bit better than Ty Gibbs right now. So hasn't affected that car at all.
He was the fastest car on the track, though. Oh, look at that little argument over space there. Carson Hocevar in the blue car. Sammy Smith, I bet his heart rate went up there because they had some contact.
You want young, talented drivers?
Oh, yeah, look at that.
That have no fear? Sammy Smith, Carson Hocevar. We're over 180 with the heart rate.
I would say if we could check his blood pressure, it would be pretty high right now.
That was a tight squeeze off turn 4.
Yeah, he's generated a pretty good run off the top of 3 and 4, and it looked like Carson slid up in front of him. And Hocevar's car looks pretty loose, guys. You watch it. The back end is really dancing around through the middle of the corners.
I mentioned Hocevar earlier today in our coverage and just how good he's been lately. 6th driving in the Xfinity Series at Darlington.
Watch this off turn 4. This will elevate your heart rate. They get down the back straightaway. Big move to the inside by Hocevar. I think he's going to come up in front of Sammy.
Yeah, I didn't see anything wrong with that right.
No, I don't either.
Hocevar had plenty of room, and Sammy had to know that he was going to have a little bit of momentum on Carson because he had run the bottom through that corner.
Just behind them, don't look now, but the 00 is on the move, up to 14th since the restart, Regan.
Adam, it's going well for him right now. Cutting through the field pretty quick at the moment. Still not perfect with that race car. Earlier today when we started the race, he was tight landing, getting into the corner. Now that car has transitioned. At this moment, he is loose into the corners. Needs some help with that right now.
Well, he might be loose, but he's fast. And the one thing that he's getting right now is a balance of his car in traffic, you know, and so you're able to work on that and kind of know what you're going to have on a restart. And that's a big confidence builder to go to the back and to be able to drive up through them.
Did you see that run off turn 2?
Right now, yeah.
He wrapped that high side and was able to really close in on Herbst.
Look what he's done last 5 races compared to the first 6. Those first 6 races, his only top 10 finish was at Daytona. Since that time, they have been absolutely rolling. Average finish inside the top 5. And hey, quick update. The driver he's racing with here, Daniel Hemrick, in the 11, went 1 lap down after that unscheduled pit stop. He's 37th, and the 3rd car in line 1 lap down. So he's not in a position to get that free pass should the caution come out.
And Adam, you talk about the slow start to the year for Cole Custer. I mean, he was the guy that I picked as the championship favorite heading in because he had the Cup experience coming back. We know those cars are going to be fast, and it was a struggle at the beginning. Ran well at some of those races, just didn't finish well, but finally getting it all pieced together, Michael.
Yeah, and he's impressive, and he was my championship favorite for sure, and I think everything's heading in the right direction. You take him and John Hunter, I think that's the two that Justin Allgaier, Austin Hill. I know Austin Hill's won 3 times. Those are the two they got to keep their eye on for the long run.
Here's a stat you won't believe. In this race a year ago, Joe Gibbs Racing failed to lead. I mean, that's just incredible. First time that had happened in 23 races. They have been in charge in this race tonight, even earlier today. Ty Gibbs out front of John Hunter Nemechek. It's a parade for JGR at Charlotte with 12 to go, stage 2.
Your pride and joy is measured in acres. Keep them looking their best with the Kubota lineup. Versatile Sidekick utility vehicles. The #1 rated tractor brand for durability and owner experience. Professional grade mowers for a professional cut. It's equipment built with one purpose, to get the job done right.
Arby's 2 for $4 Bourbon Barbecue Sliders combine the best of authentic barbecue. Meats, pickle, sauce, lot of napkins, countertop, cowboy hat. Arby's, we have the meats.
Okay, cut it. Ray Magliozzi here. When you need parts, eBay Motors ensures a guaranteed fit. Let's see, you'll need headlights and a bumper. At least you can skip the car wash. Just go to eBay Motors. The check means a guaranteed fit. Let's ride.
Chicago's seen it all, but it's never experienced anything quite like this. A 2-day racing and music festival featuring the Chainsmokers, Miranda Lambert, the Black Crowes, and Charlie Crockett. It's NASCAR in the streets of Chicago, and so much more. the Chicago Street Race Weekend. For tickets and experiences, visit NASCARChicago.com.
Saturday, it's baseball night in America on Fox. It doesn't get bigger than this. The Yankees and the Dodgers, New York and LA, two icons, two Goliaths, two heavyweights collide in an East versus West battle, featuring some of the game's biggest stars.
Aaron Judge, monster shot, Mookie has done it again!
It's Baseball Night in America, Saturday at 7 Eastern on Fox.
Inside of 10 laps to go, stage number 2, Charlotte Motor Speedway for NASCAR's Xfinity Series with Michael Waltrip, Jamie McMurray. I'm Adam Alexander. Going to break, I was talking about Joe Gibbs Racing and the fact that they didn't lead a lap in this race a year ago. And Jamie, you told me why during the commercial there.
Yeah, I watched the race back this morning to kind of get up to date here. It's because Junior Motorsports was first through fourth for a lot of that race. I mean, it was incredible. All 4 of those cars were capable of winning.
All 4 of them finished inside the top 7. They're all 4 in the top 10 tonight. Talking about the Chevrolets from Junior Motorsports, best of the bunch. Justin Allgaier in 3rd. Barry just got to the top 10. He had been right around 11th, 12th.
You know, we talked to Justin in the garage earlier, Adam, and asked him, you know, like, well, what do you think the difference is? Like 1 year ago, you're dominating these mile and a halves and still running well tonight, but not the same performance. And he really couldn't pinpoint one thing of why he thought the organization was just a little bit off this year.
You see Josh Berry back into the top 10. He's running 9th, just ahead of Carson. Whoa. Carson didn't give that spot up. Down in the garage area again yesterday, Jamie, and talking to Carson Hosford, looked under the hood and had a Hendrick engine under the hood. A lot of JRM parts on that thing, so it's a really good race car, and this is a really talented young racer. I've had the privilege of following him in his career in the Truck Series and watching him win that big race down in Texas, but being so close to winning before that, and you knew it was just a matter of time. And obviously, he's got what it takes behind the wheel to win at this level.
And as I watch him, whether it's today or in the Truck Series, he's had a history of making a lot of other people mad. He's fast, but it's been hard to put the whole race together because he's made some mistakes later in the races of making people mad. But that's clear. You kind of mentioned that's getting better.
3 to go on the stage. Issues for the 25 of Brett Moffitt.
Brett Moffitt was running the fence. He's been running as high or higher as we watch Cole Custer work his way in the top 10. He went to the bottom 1, Barry, but you can see Brett's been in the outside wall. Custer slides underneath Barry, and then Barry back underneath the old crossover there off turn 2.
Yeah, Cole had a huge run, and just the top is so preferred right now. You see those guys all trying to get as high as they can. Look at how fast the double zeros can get back to the throttle, and can carry that momentum off the corner. That is impressive.
Outside the top 30 to begin our second stage, and we started it a little later than normal because of all the laps we ran after that red flag and everything, and here he is going to get a stage point if he can hang on.
Yeah, and if this next stage goes green, seeing how good that double zero is on the long run, especially up against the wall, he's going to be a factor in this thing.
Plus 21 in the stage for Cole Custer. Got the damage on pit road at our competition caution, but he has found the sweet spot. Final lap of the stage. Ty Gibbs won stage 1 right around noon Eastern time. And here we are at 10:15 on the East Coast, and he's going to sweep the stages, it would appear. 15th career stage victory for Ty Gibbs. He does it at Charlotte. It's only the 2nd time in his career. Hard to believe that he's swept stages in an Xfinity race. John Hunter Nemechek 2nd as he was in stage 1. Allgaier, Austin Hill, Creed the top 5. Chandler Smith, Sam Mayer, Brandon Jones, Cole Custer, Carson Hocevar the top 10. Long day for Ty Gibbs, but he's got plenty of adrenaline. Earlier the Coke 600, now the Xfinity Series Stage 2 complete, and everyone on pit road. Regan?
Adam, it's a different time of day, but still the same problems for Justin Allgaier. The middle tight with that car right now, but the entry and exit is very free. Said the right rear just feels extremely stiff on his car. And the 2 car is Sheldon Creed. He started off free, moved up the racetrack some, and then he loses the whole car. Doesn't have any grip with it. Josh?
Well, Ty Gibbs swept the stages, but his biggest concern, having trouble with the radio. They're going to take some extra time on pit road to change out the steering wheel, which will change out the radio system. And then as far as John Hunter Nemechek, said I need better turn, but don't unhook the back, guys.
That's big for Ty Gibbs and that team. He's going to go all the way to the back of the lead lap.
I was going to say that his teammate wins the race off pit road over him, but there really was no race between teammates because of everything he had to deal with. So you're Cole Custer. You go from outside the top 30 to scoring stage points, and on pit road +3. Life is good for the 00 right now.
Well, let's hit him up, see if he wants to talk. Hey, Cole, it's Jamie Mack up in the Fox Sports booth. You got us?
Yep, I got you.
Well, buddy, it has been fun to watch you rip around the top. Your car looks great. I know you had to go to the back, but you drove back up through there, had a great pit stop. You got a lot of time left. What do you think? You got enough car to get up and win this thing?
Man, I mean, I think JT did a great job tuning this thing up, so I think we got a shot at it here. We obviously hadn't been around these guys yet, but it felt pretty good that last run, so hopefully keep it going here. It's been a long weekend, so hopefully ended on a high note.
All right, man. Well, good luck. It's been fun to watch.
The highs and lows of the pit lane. When he came down at lap 21, they had that contact. Closing on the midway point for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Charlotte. This race is official, by the way, as we've wrapped up our second stage. There's the 48 of Parker Kligerman getting a push. They were penalized over the wall too soon. Let's find out what's going on here.
Fuel pressure gauge just shot back up once they lifted off the throttle. It's definitely stumbling at the end. Right now, I mean, we just got to run until it breaks. It's either the fuel pump or the regulators. Can't get the fire.
Something in the system, the fueling system, obviously a miss there.
That is a long weekend to have your car break at this point of night.
Let's get a couple of updates on pit road, Josh.
Yeah, guys, and just an update on what was going on with the 19th. So the button was sticking, they felt like, because whenever he would try and talk over the radio, all they would hear was the sound of the engine. So when they came under caution, Ty came over the radio and said, we just need to change this thing out because it's annoying me too much. So that's why they took so much time on pit road to change out the steering wheel, which has the button which he presses to talk over the radio. Regan?
Well, a tough break for the 98 of Riley Herbst. You saw him right behind the 19 of Ty Gibbs there on the racetrack. He's going to have to restart in the back. They had to come back and put lug nuts on the left rear tire, unfortunately.
It's interesting about Ty Gibbs' wheel because normally if the button is sticking in the car, you don't know that as a driver. They hear that on the pit box. So that's an interesting comment that he made there.
Well, he's got a really fast car. It'll be fun for us to watch him
absolutely
tear back through the field. But, you know, he's had a long day, had a great run in the Coke 600, and now problems here. But I'll tell you this, you see the stage points earned today, and those have big implications on our playoffs that are not too far out from here.
Big for Daniel Hemrick, got 7. Parker Kligerman in the garage gets none. They were right there at the cut line. Inside lane for John Hunter Nemechek on the restart. Outside, Sheldon Creed. Almost halfway home at Charlotte.
Big push from Justin Allgaier to John Hunter on this restart, trying to get that outside lane cleared. You see it really has shot John Hunter out into the front. Oh, there comes the 00, guys.
Yeah, he's lurking. Look at that dive into turn 3. That's where 00 has been so good down in this end of the corner, end of the track, and he's able to hold it down low and make moves.
Well, and what I think is impressive about his car is that we thought he was the best car in the long run, and it looks to me like it takes off really good on the restarts as well. So great car this weekend for Cole Custer.
3 wide behind him. Brandon Jones looking to the outside and thought better of it. Austin Hill took that space away.
Now Austin comes up, gives a shove to his teammate, Sheldon Creed, who's fighting for that spot with a 00 of Cole Custer. They're all racing for third.
Yeah, and I know that he was trying to help his teammate right there, but actually gave that shove a little late into the corner, maybe got Sheldon Creed a little bit loose. You see Cole Custer was able to clear them in 3 and 4. It'd be interesting to see if he can track down these top 2 guys now.
The top two guys ran about the same time on the speedway, a couple of tenths faster than Cole, but Cole was passing people making that kind of time on the track. As you see, Josh Berry dive down low into turn 3.
Berry has complained about his car all weekend about being too loose in, too loose off, and not turning the middle. And as we heard Regan report down on pit road, Justin Allgaier is starting to complain about the same thing. So a little bit of work to do to those JRM cars to get them back up to the speed of some of these other guys.
That being said, Berry's up to 8th after starting
they're
in the
not
back.
terrible. They're just not as good as what we were accustomed to seeing. I mean, they dominated this race 1 year ago.
I just wouldn't want to race with Berry because he's that driver. You write him off, and you're like, okay, I don't have to worry about him anymore. And then you get to the final quarter of the race, and you're like, what? How did he get back up here?
From?
We've seen it all year long, and right now he's knocking on the door of the top 5 as he goes to the inside of Sheldon Creed. That is for 5th.
I think he's going to bang that door down, Adam, and take that 5th spot. So good, wrapping the bottom. That's what the cars want to do. These drivers talk about wrapping the bottom, and that's what he's able to do there. Is he doesn't quite have the speed to clear Creed in the 2 car.
Won't be long before they've got company coming from behind in the form of Ty Gibbs. I looked up and he was top 15 already since the restart. He's plus 10, being scored 11th. Man, that Toyota's fast.
Sometimes as a driver and you got a long day and you've had some frustrations, you just want to go take it out on the car. You know, you want to show everybody that you can do it no matter what the situation is, overcoming that steering wheel issue already and up inside. He's in the 11th position, just outside the top 10.
Yeah, and you know, one thing that I think we need to talk about here is that it's been a really long day for the drivers, the crews. You could see some mistakes here. Everybody, I mean, we're exhausted up in the TV booth. We haven't really done anything all day long. So it's been a really long day for all these guys, and I think you'll see some frustrations as this race goes on. But boy, that 19 car, man, he can run the bottom, roll around the white line. Lots of speed in Ty Gibbs' car tonight.
You're talking about a long day for a lot of people. Let me give a special salute to all the folks, the men and women here at NASCAR on Fox. They do an incredible job. Many of them will break down our operation tonight and go straight to St. Louis for next weekend. So we thank everybody for the long day and the hard work as Ty Gibbs slides up in front of Mayer. Mayer, a little crossover. It gets harder and harder to pass cars the closer you get to the front, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, and there's no love lost between those two. They definitely have had their share of on-track battles throughout their whole career. But you think about it, even in the Xfinity Series, you see Ty Gibbs trying to shut down in front of him and take some air away from Sam Mayer right there and get that pass completed.
We've reached the final stage for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 77. Had a 30-second pit stop on that last cycle, but he's been able to regain some track position. There he is right behind Sammy Smith. This has been very entertaining.
Well, it's getting interesting. Michael and I have been watching this. That battle with Chandler Smith and Ty Gibbs, has been a little bit heated the last few laps. And Sammy Smith came up short in that because of what was going on.
Now he's got damage to the left front. He and Sam Mayer got together, and you can see the left front fender rubbing, and it's caved in there. That's going to hurt his aerodynamics, and he's falling back already.
Yeah, fortunately it rubbed, but it looks like it went away. The aerodynamics are going to be messed up, but
there was a lot going on in that pack between Ty Gibbs, as you see here, is trying to pass Chandler Smith, loses control a bit, but watch behind them what happens.
Yeah, he gets just a little bit loose right there, and Mayer tries to slide up in front of Sammy Smith, and there just wasn't room.
Not a lot of friends being made in this race tonight.
It looks heated to me, Adam.
It does. I mean, you talked about the situation and the history with Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer. I think we're starting to pay it forward a little bit. We're developing some storylines for the remainder of the season.
Chandler Smith's looking in his mirror and saying, I don't really like the way y'all acted either. So.
Well, and you know, Ty's frustrated because he had to go to the back. He's flying up through the field. But when he caught Chandler Smith, Chandler's run the line that he needs, and he's not able to get to his outside. And every time he goes to the inside, he's not able to clear him. And it's just become frustrating for him.
You saw what a handful that 19 car was off turn 4 when he nearly got sideways and into the side of Chandler Smith.
At the front, John Hunter Nemechek, 1.4 seconds
Jamie, you talked about
Justin Allgaier. Go ahead,
Excuse me,
Michael.
Adam. We talked about that right front fender. He's still running the fastest laps on the track. The only guy faster from time to time is Cole Custer, who's caught them in third. But that right front fender has broken loose.
Yeah, and Michael, it doesn't seem to be affecting the performance of the 20 car. But my fear is when those body panels start flopping around, if some air gets underneath that, it can tear that fender apart from the bumper covers you see right there, and it's stuck out. That can be a concern. They're going to need to get some tape on that just to make sure that the air doesn't get up underneath it.
Leaders have had problems today. John Hunter Nemechek got that damage when he was leading, popped the wall. Ty Gibbs has his issues. They have to render those on pit road. This is the battle for second. Cole Custer had some damage, had to come back down. He's worked his way to third behind Justin Allgaier. And just behind them, Brandon Jones. You talk about needing a good run. First year at Junior Motorsports, only 2 top 10s. He came into this race 43 points below the cut line. But you look at what Daniel Hemrich's doing back in 28th. The door is open for Brandon Jones to have a good day.
No, this battle just will not go away. Ty Gibbs is wanting to get to the outside, but he lost his momentum. Got into the wall just a little bit right there, and you see Sam Mayer is going to fill the void. It's incredible how loose the cars are on the bottom. You see Ty Gibbs doing it again. Sam Mayer's doing all he can to not let Ty Gibbs in line right there. Frustrated with each other. So much fun to watch.
So much fun for us to watch. Those guys seem like they're not having much fun at all. Looks like they're very heated, as I said.
If you knew nothing about the history of these two, the body language kind of tells the story. And look at Gibbs. That was a pretty good shot in the wall.
Total a slide job gone wrong. He drove in, tried to get underneath Chandler Smith, carried a little too much speed into that corner and got to his outside. You see all those guys are starting to slide around. The one thing, if I'm Ty Gibbs, that I would want to do right now is I'd want to figure out how to make that very top work. And that's something that I have noticed about the 00. I see Sam Mayer trying to make it work right there, is that if you can't pass them on the bottom, you got to try to generate the run around the top. And that is where the 00 was so good this last run.
But how fun is this to watch? These guys are out of control trying to take these spots away from each other. And now they brought Sheldon Creed into the picture.
He's not scared to mix it up with them for sure.
Another good day for Sheldon Creed.
That's just some great car control. We see how loose and slipping and sliding these guys are.
Ty Gibbs driving the 19 this weekend. Myatt Snyder going to drive it next week in Portland. And boy, he was outstanding there last year driving for Jordan Anderson. So you anticipate they will be strong there. Then we go to Sonoma in 2 weeks. Ty Gibbs back behind the wheel. He's never been there. Wants to gain some experience for his Cup debut there.
This is great racing. We can't wait to see how it all turns out.
Worth the wait. 120 of 200 laps complete. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series from Charlotte live on FS2. Laps so far in this race, but it's his teammate Ty Gibbs who led 52, won stage 1 and stage 2. And after they spent all that time on pit road, Ty has worked his way up to 7th and starting to gain some ground on the front runners.
Got a little right side damage after trying to do a slider into 3. Got a little high, but now finds himself, as you mentioned, Adam, in the 7th position.
It's been a dogfight for sure for Ty Gibbs. But the one thing that we noticed at the end of the last stage is that it does seem like it gets a little bit easier for these guys to pass the more laps they run. The handling of the cars really comes into play. That's where we saw Cole Custer making all of his ground up. And Ty Gibbs has been able, you watch, he's been able to run really just the middle of the racetrack, Michael. He hasn't had to go all the way up against the wall in order to make time. And I was shocked because I thought he hit the wall pretty hard and the car would have some damage, but seems like the pace of that car is just fine.
Yeah, he and Cole Custer that last time by, this, as you see the 00, 2 fastest cars on the track.
Cole's 3rd, and the talking strategy. Oh, there we go, spinner. And it's going to be our 4th caution of the night. Sam Mayer into the inside wall.
As quick as you can. Right front damage, guys. Probably going to have 4 flaps.
He was 10th, and one of those drivers that had been driving his tail off in that mix back there.
He had been really high, and that car did not look like it was handling well.
So it's been about 35 laps since these teams pitted. As we look at it, getting away from him off the corner.
Just ringing that high side, and pushing the gas hard on exit. That's how you make time up there, and it just got away from him. Where all your speed is on the high side is from the center off. That's why you go up there, and when you put the gas down and she doesn't stick, she's a handful.
Yeah, if you're not able to carry the momentum from the middle off, it's just so far around the top that you can't carry any speed. You see it yawed out on him 2/3 of the way around the corner, and he just wasn't able to gather it back up.
He was outside the playoff cut line prior to Dover a couple of races ago, and 2 successful outings at Dover and Darlington put him in a playoff position, but this won't help.
No, tape's not going to fix that one.
71 to go now. Going to be, right around 70 or just inside of 70 when we get pit stops. The last time these teams pitted 35 laps ago, but everybody should have 2 sets of sticker tires in the pits. So even though they're not in their window, you would anticipate they come here, get a set, and they'll have a set laying if we get a caution later on, and could have to make a green flag pit stop.
It's so hard to be disciplined enough with your Sam Mayer when you have that flat tire trying to get back to pit road. You don't want to get lapped again, but the consequences of going too fast. You see that tire, because it was flat spotted, came apart, and it's now ripped the fender off, and man, the aerodynamics of that car are just shot.
Pit road still closed, so we remind you of this. Saturday is baseball night in America on Fox, and it doesn't get much bigger than this as Aaron Judge and the Yankees battle Mookie Betts and the Dodgers, or the Guardians take on the Twins. Catch the action 7 Eastern on Fox. Check local listings for the game in your area.
Nice baseball player. Do you know that? It was.
And
second baseman.
When's the last time you played baseball competitively? What age?
12.
12?
Me too.
About 10 years ago.
I was a third baseman because I was lanky.
Yeah,
is that what it was?
I wasn't lanky.
We were talking about strategy here. The fuel window we were given was, right around 60 laps.
Yeah.
And we knew the caution would come out just outside of it.
Every crew chief
every time
down there is like, you got to be kidding me.
Not again.
Oh, yeah, this would be fun to watch. These guys try to manage that.
They're pitting.
The good news for them, though, you really got an extra set of tires this weekend over what you would normally get, it feels like. Typically, you got 1 set laying for that final stage. You got 2 here. So you pit here, and then you got some options throughout the rest of the race.
What are we going to do about that fender, Jamie?
Man, I want to go down there and put tape on it for him.
But listen to this. He's leading the race. He's fast.
Care.
Do they waste the time fixing the fender, or just have the fastest pit stop?
Well, they've got the best pit stall. We saw in the Cup race earlier what an advantage that #1 pit stall was. I think I take a chance to get some tape on it.
Even when they pulled the fender on the earlier stop, but he didn't really lose a lot of ground when he made that pit stop. Here they are, Regan.
Well, the great recovery continues for Cole Custer after going to the back when we restarted this race. Right now, about 10 to 15 laps into the run, his car gets too tight in the center and then gets loose off. He wants help with that in the 7 car, Justin Allgaier. His front end was better that run through the middle, but he doesn't have any rear lateral grip, meaning it's sliding the rear tires. As you see, he's a little slow on the right rear. Josh?
For the 21 of Austin Hill, he said the car has been really getting loose on him and then snapping on him on the exit. And then as far as the 20 of John Hunter Nemechek, no concerns about that fender right now. We just said the car fired off decent, and then it started to get a little bit snug, so they're going to make an adjustment for him.
Said I've led 50 laps.
I know.
What do you want from me?
Ben Bayshore is like, we're not putting tape on this
and
thing.
they didn't touch it. The tire changers did their job, and they won the race off pit road.
Yeah, I'll take the track position. Top 2 hold serve, +3 for Austin Hill. Cole Custer went 1 in the wrong direction. Bad stop there for Brandon Jones, who was in the top 5. Caution is out for his teammate, Sam Mayer. When we were going to break, watching some replays, saw a couple of cars get together on pit road. He was one of them. Tell me what happens here, guys.
Well, you see the 8 cars coming right here. Sheldon Creed exits his pit stall. Oh, it's a little contact. It looked like he was probably trying to avoid Chandler Smith also that was pulling out Michael, and Josh Berry was there. So big contact, though, for those guys.
Usually Isn't the deal, Jamie, the spotters call them in and the crew chief calls them out? The crew chief says, go, 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 and the driver does just that, or one lane, one over?
100%. But I think that here it is. It's 10:50. We've been here for 12 hours. I just feel like it's mistakes people have made because they're tired.
Go, 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 go. Two outside, two outside, two outside, two outside, two outside. Sorry from fender damage, guys. Probably going to have to fix that.
That's a tough call to make as a driver as to what to do when he's saying two outside.
I always hated go, go, go because typically when they wanted to stop, they'd say, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I'm like, that sounds too much alike. I need one or the other there.
Good news for Creed. Got a bunch of stage points today. That'll help minimize some of the damage at the end of the night. Front row, Nemechek, Allgaier restart, 66 remaining.
See Ty Gibbs already trying to make it 3 wide on Chandler Smith, who's had a heck of a time getting past in that last run.
Man, they're squeezed in there. Look at Allgaier on the top.
Oh yeah, they're hugging each other now on the quarter panels, knowing that the race is getting down towards the end.
Hill is there. Custer is there. Best running position of the night for Austin Hill, who's digging to the inside.
Justin Allgaier drove way down into turn 3. It looked like John Hunter got a little bit loose because he was on his outside quarter panel. Was able to clear him right here. See if he can hang on.
Allgaier makes it stick. First time he's been on point since the early portion of this race after he started on the pole.
Was that today or yesterday?
I don't know.
Look at this mess. Ty Gibbs caught in the middle as Riley Herbst charges around the outside.
Right of your screen for second. Hill in the 21. The 20 is Nemechek.
There's Kaz Gralla in that 26. He's doing a great job inside the top 10. Struggled on Friday with that car, but got it tuned up today. He gets a little loose there.
Ty Gibbs trying to take advantage. The two double duty guys. The 10 is Justin Haley. The 19 Ty Gibbs. They're 9th and 10th on track. Or they were.
Anywhere you look, there's battles side by side. What great action.
Yeah, great battle with the Junior Motorsports teammates right there. Josh Berry and Brandon Jones for 5th and 6th, going back and forth.
3 Junior Motorsports Chevrolets in the top 6. The leader is Justin Allgaier. And keep in mind, they have not won this season. They're 0 for 11, won 15 times a season ago, put 3 drivers in the championship 4. One of their 15 wins came right here at Charlotte, courtesy of number 8. It's the only time JRM has won at this place.
Carson Hocevar made the move there down into turn 3 on Kaz Gralla. Got that spot.
Good comeback for Hocevar after he had the bad pit stop a while ago. He was outside the top 20.
Yeah, the big loser on this restart, guys, has been Ty Gibbs. We thought he was going to be able to drive back up there, but has not had a good restart and has lost 3 spots on this restart. You see him trying to fight back inside of Justin Haley right here. You know, Michael, it looked like he just kind of got stuck in the middle, got loose. You talked about Riley Herbst going by him on the outside, and he just lost all that momentum.
Charging now, though. That's a big corner driving around the 10 car of Haley like that. Haley and Gibbs both pulling the double duty. Have been at it a while today, as you see. Josh Berry way up high.
Brandon Jones 5th and hanging tight. Regan?
Adam having a nice run, and that's a team that's needed a nice run. A lot of problems as of late, not of their own making. Earlier this year, they were making some mistakes. Now it's been just getting caught up in stuff. That car has been tight all night long with so many others have been fighting loose and multiple issues. His has been consistent. Last run, he was just tight through 3 and 4. Looking good right now as he makes a move.
And his crew chief, Jason Burdett, who's enjoyed a lot of success here over the years with Justin Allgaier. We shouldn't be surprised. That team's not going to quit and go away.
Well, I'm going to say they got it freed up plenty for him now because Brandon Jones had his hands full through turns 1 and 2, got pretty loose on the inside of Cole Custer, and you saw Cole Custer drive away from him there. These guys, this is a great race. This is so much fun to watch them battle. I know they're all frustrated inside the car, but it's so much fun to watch someone try to get the run, do the slide job, lose the momentum. Oh, you see Riley Herbst.
That was an example of what loose end looks like, and I think he might have an issue.
Yeah, there's a big bump on the entry to turn 1, and it almost looked like he had a flat tire, though, as he drove in there as fast as that car took off.
Well, it's flat now for sure, as you see Ty Gibbs is around Barry and will continue charging forward. That's Chandler Smith just ahead. They're interesting together. Let's see what happens with these two as we watch what happens to Riley when he goes into one. You think maybe the tire's down already, or does he just got loose?
Oh no, looks like it just twitched on him, got loose, and then
he
got into
overcorrected
the wall.
it.
Yeah.
Turn those wheels to the right to save it. And
Josh Berry was 6th, and he's sliding in the wrong direction here, Michael.
Well, that 19 car's got the pace. As you see live, he's going on the inside of the 16 of Chandler.
It's so frustrating when you got to try to pass the same guy over and over again. It had that bad restart. Chandler Smith was ahead of him. See, Chandler doesn't race him quite as hard. You see the nice little slide job sliding up in front of him. The 19 car has got it gathered back up, making some of that ground up to 6th.
Ty Gibbs trying to come back. He's 6th right now. Your top 5 with 57 to go. Allgaier, Nemechek, Hill, Custer, and Jones. We're live at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
This is Sonoma. This is what the drivers will see. And this is what you'll see. Drivers, you. Drivers, you.
It just got really interesting in Sonoma.
And this is what everyone came to see. Get your tickets now at SonomaRaceway.com.
When I started as a stunt driver, I had to create my own path. So I got in my Ford and I got to work. Literally every moment of the day, I just trained. And now I can confidently say that I'm one of the top drivers in this industry.
Doug. What do we always say, son? Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance.
So you only pay for what you need.
That's my boy. And you get out there and you make us proud, huh?
Bye, Uncle Emu.
Stay off the freeways. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
How do we know you'll love pretzel crust? Because this person said they'd kiss every Little Caesars employee right on the mouth for their beloved pretzel crust. So, yeah, we think you'll love pretzel crust too. Mwah. Love you.
Pizza, pizza. Are you a new AT&T customer looking to upgrade your phone? You're trapped, locked into your contract for 3 years. Introducing the Easy Unlock. Bring your AT&T locked phone and T-Mobile will pay it off and give you one of the latest 5G smartphones free.
Free your phone now at T-Mobile.
The sports world loves the USFL.
Here we go.
This is the gridiron phenomenon that has taken America by storm.
I feel you.
It's hard-hitting. Boom. Fast-paced. Action-packed pro football that fans are going crazy for.
Here we come.
Real pros.
Look at that.
Real football for real fans. The USFL action kicks off Sunday at 1 and 4 Eastern on Fox.
Here is where it must be left on the track.
Blow those rear tires off of it, bud.
And now is when the future is written in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Had 4 cautions tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. One of those courtesy of Sam Mayer, but the one has stayed on track. He's 2 laps down in 31st. Meanwhile, back at the front, things are tightening. Allgaier in command. Right behind him, John Hunter Nemechek. So let's slide this graphic in. Last 16 races last year for JRM versus the first 11 this year. So strong at the end of 2022.
And number 20 is coming. Last few laps out, him a 10th better than the leader, and he is there.
Yeah, and it seemed lap traffic's played a big role in this. As Justin caught this lap traffic, John Hunter was just able to manage through that a little better. Oh, we see contact right there. Gets into Justin. Not bad, though. They both slide up. A little bit of contact with that
he's going to race you hard like that. So keep yourself in a good spot. Just a donut on the door. Everything looks fine.
What's air racing? I mean, that looked like a slide job, but he wasn't in a position to do so. That was crazy. with 49 laps to go. Justin did a nice job hanging on to that car.
7 letting it all hang out, Regan.
Well, definitely let it all hang out in a great battle that we see for the lead. But he's got more to think about. We've got about 50 laps to go, 49 laps to go right now. And listen to this.
All right, now I'm going to make it hard on you. Gap management, save fuel. Back the corner up 30 foot. Right now, gap is 0.6. Copy.
All right, hold off Nemechek, who's been one of the best drivers this year. And gap management, save fuel. You got a whole lot going on there, as Regan said, if you're Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, I mean, all you can do, he's talking about lifting a little early. I mean, honestly, the easiest way to save gas is to get wide open off the corner and then back off to like 70% down the straightaway, lift a little bit early into the corner. It's just, I mean, the whole saving gas thing is about being efficient. It's about running the fastest lap time, but also saving the most amount of gas. I thought lap traffic is what allowed the 20 car to catch up to him, but I'm going to say that a lot of that was just saving fuel.
Let's get an update. 20 radio, what are they thinking fuel-wise?
So based on the last read, we're about 2 laps short here. So we're going to keep going hard for maybe another 15 or so, and then we'll back you down.
Now, we heard this morning in the garage, the fuel window.
I don't like that theory.
Right around 60 laps. These teams pitted with 69 to go. And my thought is, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of a cool night, and they're not backing out of it. They're going, right? Which means you're burning more fuel. This might be a really, really interesting finish if we don't get a caution.
Well, and the information they gave the 20 was they were going to let him go a little bit longer, about 15 more laps, and then they'd start saving. There's so many times that they ask you to save fuel, and you don't really slow down as you're saving fuel. And I would rather try to get a little bit for 45 laps than to try to go hard for another 15 or 20 and then save even more. They're hoping for a caution, though, Michael.
I'm just a little confused by that charge of Nemechek. He was out running our leader a tenth or so a lap and got there and nearly made the dive bomb pass.
Right.
And now he's just faded back. So maybe, indeed, John Hunter said, well, I gave it a try.
Right.
I'm going to roll out and save a little fuel.
Because really, ever since Allgaier nearly lost it and kicked it sideways, he's been able to pull away.
Yeah.
Josh Berry trying to make a comeback late in the run. Was up in the top 5, drifted back now to 9th. Justin Haley, 11th.
Battling just outside the top 10.
That 10 car's had a host of drivers this year. Only 2 finishes outside the top 10. Jordan Taylor driving it next weekend in Portland. A.J. Allmendinger gets the wheel at Sonoma. Daniel Hemrick in the 11. He's 25th, a lap down.
Yeah, and he's got other issues. They're starting to catch the back end of the pack, so he will probably pass on getting the free pass. As you can see, solid run for Jeb Burton.
Yeah, had a good qualifying run, and then backing it up with a great run in the race. Good job for Jeb.
Yeah, this team's performed well. Won at Talladega, locked in the playoffs. Right behind him, Kaz Grala.
And Adam and Jamie and I are brought to you by Firehouse Coffee at this time of night.
Yes,
I'm not drinking coffee. You guys are on your own. I want to be able to sleep later.
Look at this charge, though. He's sizing up Jeb Burton. What would be interesting, Adam, if some of these guys that don't quite have the pace of our leaders, what if they can stretch it? We could see a real upset here tonight at Charlotte.
Roll the dice, steal the show.
Do it.
Both those Sam Hunt Toyotas were top 10 at Darlington. Grala and Corey Heim was driving the 24 at Darlington. Connor Mozak driving it tonight. He's 16th right now. Oh, man, just as I say that, that's the announcer jinx right there. Mozak with a tire issue, debris everywhere, 40 to go. Will this produce our 5th caution of the night?
Yeah, it looks like he's got it down on the bottom. I don't know if any debris actually got up on the racetrack.
And that has every look of scrubbing that outside wall.
Yeah, no doubt.
See that right side beat off of that car.
And honestly, guys, I like watching fuel mileage races because you just don't know who's playing games. Now we see the 20 car has run Justin Allgaier back down.
You think that's a regroup?
So, like, yeah, I mean, is he saving gas now in the 7 a little bit more, maybe buying some time? I like the unknowns that go into this because as a driver, you just don't know what everybody else is doing.
That is tight. Yeah, you're right. And You've been fortunate enough to win a couple of fuel mileage races in your career, Jamie, and I know how much a fan you are of those.
You seem bitter when you say that, Michael.
I did win one fuel mileage race. It was great. I was dominant most of the race, though, and able to pull it off right at the end.
48 laps led for Allgaier. Most he's led this season, but he might not be out front for long. So here comes Nemechek inside of the 7, 39 remaining.
Yeah, and there's no saving fuel right here. Justin does not want to let John Hunter get by him in the race that they're having right now. Both those guys are going all out. We'll kind of see what they have.
So close. He almost had him cleared. You could see John Hunter in there just battling that wheel. There's a tire mark on the side of that 20 car from the last time he tried to do this.
Yeah, and the mindset for either of these guys is, well, if I can get to the lead, I'll save some gas then, but don't want to use too much up trying to get there.
Look what's coming from behind. Austin Hill's been turning some really fast laps lately in that 21 car. Those two guys battling for the lead. That's going to put the sense of urgency more up for John Hunter.
Yeah, and John Hunter is just packing air on the back of the 7 car. The 7 car is already loose, but by John Hunter driving in and getting right on that left rear corner, it's making the 7 car even looser. And like you say, because of what they've got going on right there, Austin Hill is motoring them down right now.
That's just visually appealing to Austin Hill. Battle it out, guys. I'll be there.
37 to go. Lap traffic there. Austin Hill lurking. Here's John Hunter Nemechek. Pulls up in front of Justin Allgaier. New leader at Charlotte Motor Speedway, 20 back on point.
Yeah, and Allgaier's going to return the favor of what he's been dealing with for the last 8 or 10 laps with John Hunter.
I think John Hunter's fast enough to get a gap and roll off that gas and save the fuel we've been talking about. Still got 36 to go. Whoa! I like those power slides. They're fun to watch.
Look at the laps led tonight. You got 53 for Nemechek, 52 for Gibbs, 51 for Allgaier. You want some parity at the front? Boy, have we had it. There you see the numbers.
Gibbs is continuing to charge. We talked how fast Cole Custer is. Ty has caught him. This guy's been racing all day long, charging late.
Don't give up on Ty Gibbs. Swept the stages this evening before an extended stop to make a change to the car, and now he finds himself back in the mix. 3 seconds behind, but up to 4th in the running order with 35 to go. Let's check in on Justin Allgaier's radio. 1/4 of a second behind the leader.
You can push pace nice and smooth, tail behind it. You want me to push now? Yes, you can push now. I would never let him go.
Oh, it's so frustrating as a driver. You want the information so you know what you have, right? And we heard him say that try to save some fuel, and it's so much harder to get past him now.
But it's not an exact science. I mean, they're telling them the best they know.
Just over 30 remaining. The battle is on for the lead again. Through lap traffic, Allgaier right there in Nemechek's hip pocket, and maybe this is what he needed. The okay to go ahead and get him, because he's doing it.
Well, and is Austin Hill in the best position right now? Because these guys are now racing their brains out and not saving any fuel. But what a move by Justin Allgaier to be able to do that in one corner. Got the go-ahead to be able to go and had a little bit in reserve.
And look how they've driven away from Austin Hill now. I mean, that's impressive.
What a show at the front tonight at Charlotte. Justin Allgaier, John Hunter Nemechek. They've combined to lead over 100 laps. 32 to go. We're going side by side. You miss nothing. It's been outstanding at CMS.
There's a thin line in the NASCAR Xfinity Series between winning and losing, between being the future and being past, between headlines and tailspins, between making history and being it, between the sweet taste of victory and the fumes of defeat. In the NASCAR Xfinity Series, there's a thin line between being a name they know and being a name they'll never forget.
Your house is lovely.
Thank you. I need to introduce you to someone. He was telling me how Geico makes it easy to save on homeowners insurance, so I was thinking...
Will.
Hello, old friend.
So you have met?
Years ago, we both had big dreams about saving people money on their homeowners insurance.
Yeah, just look at us now.
Your house is lovely.
Yeah, I just said that.
Okay, nobody heard you.
Okay.
I did hear you.
Geico makes it easy to save on homeowners insurance.
Summer's here, and with a new Toyota, you can go out and do all the things that make summer, summer. Like getting ice cream, movie nights. I'll keep it down. Hiking with the besties, catching sunsets, or just plain catch. Go long.
Did you know that every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care? A 2-year or 25,000-mile maintenance plan and roadside assistance. That's the value you can expect from Toyota.
Your summer starts here.
Toyota, let's go places.
Meet Ultimate Hybrid, advanced ceramic and wax technology. The best of both worlds, but better. Only from Mothers.
Immortality
Welcome to the Belmont Stakes.
comes down
Anticipation building here.
to this. The world's most famous final furlong comes to Fox.
Invincible!
The 2023 Belmont Stakes, June 10th.
Aaron Judge leads the Yankees against Mookie Betts and the Dodgers. Baseball Night in America, Saturday on Fox.
28 laps to go for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Charlotte. Justin Allgaier leads his advantage more than a half a second over John Hunter Nemechek. He just went by Josh Williams, put the 92 a lap down, so there are 16 cars on the lead lap. Among those, in 14th right now, 24 seconds behind the leader is Parker Retzlaff. But
now, Adam, why do you mention this?
All the leaders came down and pitted at lap 131. He said, you know what, I'm going to come down and top off at lap 133. That move could be enormous if this thing runs out, because we know fuel mileage, a major question mark for all these teams.
This is getting fun to see who's going to make it and who doesn't. Parker Retzlaff last time by was just a couple of tenths off of our leader, so he's got good pace. See if he's got enough gas to get there. No one else does.
Let's hear about the guy in third, Josh.
Well, guys, think back to the mile-and-a-half at Vegas, and Austin Hill was patient in that race and waited while Chandler Smith had the lead, and Austin Hill capitalized late in this one. Well, not completely as happy with his car today, but he's been staying and waiting and being patient, but now it's time to go for Austin Hill, guys.
I was going to make that connection earlier. This does remind me a little bit of what we saw at Las Vegas, where he just laid in the weeds, and then boom, he pounced late and was able to get one of his 3 wins that he's picked up this year.
What about Parker? That's a good run for him in that 31 car. How about Carson? He's all over the back of Cole Custer. He is so fast, Adam.
I don't know if he's auditioning for a ride next year. Obviously, he's full-time trucks this year, but lately he's been incredible in both series. We've talked about what he did at Darlington a couple of weeks ago in his second career Xfinity start, 3 consecutive top 5s in the truck series. He really has matured and grown up before our eyes, really, in the last month, 6 weeks.
Yeah, he's sort of changed his delivery. He said, you know, I'm thankful for this opportunity that I have, and I want to take advantage. I want to race respectfully. I want to be fast, but I want to be fair. It's been fun to watch.
Look who he's up there with: Allgaier, Nemechek, Hill, Ty Gibbs, last year's champion Cole Custer, and then Carson Hocevar in 6th.
Hocevar's got Premier Securities on his car. That's a friend of the family's. They love NASCAR. They want to help sponsor this young man, so he's doing a great job for that team.
It's so hard to figure out who has the advantage. Like, we're watching this race with Allgaier and John Hunter Nemechek, and at one point you're like, well, the 7 just drove by him and drove away, and you're like, it's over. Like, I mean, he's just got this thing wrapped up, and then all of a sudden here comes John Hunter, and he's the fastest car. So I can't tell if it's because of lap traffic, or if it's because they're saving gas, or if it's because of both, but they can't get away from each other, and it's so much fun to watch these guys battle this out.
You know, you talked about Carson Hocevar growing up before our very eyes. This will be a real test for him. Racing against Cole Custer for a top 5 here in the Xfinity Series at Charlotte. He's got to stay patient. He can't overdo it and cause an issue for he and Cole. We'll see if his money's where his mouth is, and he's able to make this pass and not run into Cole Custer.
Here's something else to think about as we manage all this fuel talk. two guys inside the top 6 that aren't running for points. Ty Gibbs in the 19, Carson Hocevar in the 77. If someone is going to roll the dice, run it long, those are two that really have nothing to lose. Whoa, that was tight, man.
Did you say lose or loose? What a slide off turn 2 that was.
Look at all those guys sliding around right now. It's interesting to me that they have all went back to the bottom. I see the 00 at the top, but the two leaders they're searching around, and it's almost like maybe the traction compound or control is not as good. But I like this that we can see their throttle trace right there. You see the throttle, both of those guys. It doesn't look like to me they're trying to save any throttle. They're both doing everything that they can to get to the lead. So maybe they feel like at this point they've saved enough gas, and both crew chiefs have kind of given them the go-ahead that don't worry about saving me any from here on out.
This is entertaining.
19 laps to go. It's back out to a half a second advantage.
Yeah, but give it a lap.
Yeah,
give it a lap, because it just keeps bouncing back and forth. It's almost like maybe one's better at one end of the track versus the other.
Austin Hill comes to pit road with 20 laps to go. He's getting 4 tires.
I mean, I assume. Gosh, would this
well, maybe he wasn't close enough.
All right, let's go down to Josh. What's the story there, Josh?
Yeah, 21 coming in to get 4 tires and fuel, also making an air pressure adjustment. Not completely happy with that car.
Well, he must have not been anywhere near.
So it's that the other guys were within 2 laps. They felt like they could save that much fuel. He must have been multiple laps down, or multiple laps of not being able to make it. So he ran as hard as he could, and they had to pit. And they thought, you're better off to pit with 20 to go if you think you're going to have to pit and make up the ground with the new tires.
Well, by the math, I know they said they're too short, but given the conditions, as we said earlier, of the night, the speeds they're running, the way they're racing each other, and how far they were off what their original fuel window was, you would just anticipate it's going to be difficult for everyone to make it. But
that's my opinion. And we'll see as cars start to peel off the banks of turn 4 and hit pit road. How soon will that be happening? This is a great battle.
With the 21 pitting, Carson Hocevar is now in the top 5. The leader, Justin Allgaier, Regan.
Adam, we might be getting a little bit of insight as to where this 7 car is right now. There's a lot of head scratching in all these pit boxes. Take a listen.
Dave, if you want. Get 2 laps. Probably 3. Did you get me 2? Yes, copy.
This is interesting to me. I couldn't answer that.
It's a guess, right? Like he
say, how does he know that?
I could not answer that question honestly.
But I'm going to tell you what, the move by Austin Hill's team to pit now and go ahead and take your lumps. If they run out of gas, or if they have to pit with 2 to go, that'll be the winning move of the race by the 21 car to go ahead and take a chance now and see what happens. Because as you say, Michael, like, did you save me 2 laps? I think so is the answer there. But they've had to race really hard. I mean, they've been both having to push each other.
You saw Jim Pullman on the pit box? He's an absolute wreck right now. 14 to go. What do you have, Regan?
Another element to add to this, Adam. I checked with the 00 at Cole Custer, and they had told their driver on the radio we're 1.5 to 2 laps short. He has been saving very heavily this entire run, and the 31 of Parker Retzlaff, who pitted after everybody to top off, checked with Josh Graham. He said, I'm about 2 laps short. I asked him if he was going to stretch it. He said, absolutely.
He's 13th right now, is Retzlaff, in the last car on the lead lap. And look left of your screen. 21 got those tires, and he's trying to drive back and jump onto the lead lap. He had lost a lap in that exchange. Right now, he's 15th and a couple of cars back when you look at those drivers in the 1 lap down category.
And when he went by, that was Carson Hocevar taking that 4th position away from Cole Custer.
Yeah, what a run he's having.
It's another car that could possibly win this race. I mean, these guys are pitting the 16 right now. Chandler Smith with 13 laps to go. They're that far from making it. How do you possibly have those other guys be able to stretch it that far?
Well, I mean, I don't think he's 13 laps from being able to make it. This is the situation of just pitting now and trying to make up the ground, with putting the tires on like we saw from the 21.
Yeah, but the 16 didn't. He needed fuel. They came in and got gas, and now Ty Gibbs hits pit road. I don't think any of these cats are going to make it.
We've seen a couple of Chevrolets in. Now we see our first Toyota. And the 21 and 16 a little bit linked, right? There's an alliance there between RCR and Colleague.
Well, and the other factor is maybe they didn't get those cars completely full, thinking that, a little quicker pit stop. The 7 obviously feels like they got their car from. I feel as we listen to the radio between Jim Pullman and Justin Allgaier, they think they were only 2 laps short, and that he thinks he saved that much. They weren't 10 laps short. They're not missing it by that far at this track.
More of the leaders coming to pit road.
This is the second time we've seen a Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota come in. We saw Ty Gibbs, now the rookie Sammy Smith, giving up his position for what's a scheduled green flag pit stop.
2 tires.
10 laps
I like
to go.
the 2 tires, though, right? You got a little bit of grip, save 5 or 6 seconds by not having to go over and put the left side tires on. I think that's a great call.
And it gives you plenty of time to get the fuel you need to finish the deal.
Correct.
John Hunter second right now. His teammates have already been in.
Just let him know how much you need so he knows what to do. Start saving hard here. I need slow down another half a second a lap.
Oh. I know, that's what I was saying earlier. I like the fact of trying to save. Just let me save a little for 45 laps. Don't stick me in that position of the last few laps of having it. It's so hard to do.
But look at the advantage now as Nemechek goes into fuel save mode full on. He's almost 2 seconds behind Allgaier, and there's going to be 8 laps to go.
He's out of gas,
when they come around
think.
this time.
Is he out?
Well, it looked like the 7 was actually shaking his car as well. I don't know if he got loose on the entry to 3. And he just ran both those cars are second a lap slower than they were running. The thing is, the 20 has slowed down, so that's automatically allowed the 7 to do the exact same thing now.
Austin Hill has worked his way up to 9th. And he's in front of Parker Retzloff, who we said could roll the dice. So Hill looking like he's in a pretty good spot right now, depending on what everyone else does.
Well, last time by, Hocevar, he was a half a second faster than our 2 leaders.
And we haven't heard anything about his fuel situation. We haven't heard whether it's save or not save, but knowing that everyone else is having to, he's going to have to try to save some.
Well, and the fact that he's not running for points, why would they even consider coming down pit road? Just as we say that, here he is.
Out of gas, I bet.
Yeah, they knew they couldn't make it. 7 to go. Hocevar makes his pit stop.
Cole Custer could be the interesting guys because he acted like he'd been saving fuel for most of that run in 3rd place, and we know those front 2 have been racing pretty hard.
Josh Berry made a stop. Brandon Jones gets his service in the 9. They're teammates to Justin Allgaier, who's leading. He's been saving 6 laps to go for the driver out of Illinois.
Keep your eye on Austin Hill. He got those tires. He's run all the way up inside the top 10.
He's up to 4th now, Michael.
Up to 4th and
27 seconds back, though. They'll have to run out of gas for him to make up that much ground.
Everybody else is, Jamie.
Yeah, everybody else is pitting, but those front 2 have acted like they could make it. And you see they've slowed down about a second and a half a lap right now. I mean, it looks like they're running way slower than they are.
5 to go for Justin Allgaier.
How much up on that wheel you think Austin Hill is? He's got that thing floorboarded and trying to get all he can.
You see top left of your screen our track map. He's a long ways back. I mean, what you see at the top left equates to 25 seconds. And it's only going to be 4 laps to go when they come around this time.
And you see John Hunter, Michael, has slowed down even 2 seconds more. He's almost 3.5, 4 seconds slower than the pace that he was running earlier. And you can look at the throttle traces right here. Those guys lifting really early, coasting down into the corner. Minimal throttle. You see he's cracking the throttle back about 20% right there. The thing is, you want to get wide open on the exit of the corner to get some speed built up, and then you'll start rolling out of the throttle again as you get 3/4 of the way down the straightaway.
I would want to be running the line that John Hunter is, though. Not where the 7 is, way up the hill. It's shorter around the bottom.
Let's get some 7 radio.
Let me know where the 21 is.
21 is 26 seconds back.
Copy. And Custer is way off the 20.
3 to go for Allgaier. Hasn't won this year. And when you talk about drivers that can afford to roll the dice, Nemechek's won twice. He's got a lot of playoff points. He's got money in the bank. So they can afford to roll the dice here, too, if that's what they choose. And it appears they are. Top 3 have not been to pit road. Austin Hill 20 seconds back, but we know he is good on fuel. 2 laps remaining for Justin Allgaier. Can he nurse it 3 more miles for his first win of the year?
Be the longest 3 miles of Justin Allgaier's life right here.
This is dramatic. An economy run.
Coming to the white flag this time. Keep lifting entry.
You know, looking at that throttle trace, he wasn't saving as much as I thought he would have to in order to make up that time.
White flag is out this time.
White flag right here, coast.
1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. Can Justin Allgaier get there?
Looking inside. All clear, coming checker.
Well, he's got an 8-second lead on John Hunter right now. He can coast from right here. I just don't know if he can coast and still beat him.
Junior Motorsports has not won this season. What a job saving fuel for Justin Allgaier. His first win at Charlotte is his first win of the year. Here's Allgaier getting it done.
That's what I'm talking about.
They knew it the whole time, Adam.
Baby. Nice job. Nice job, Eddie.
He told him he saved him 2 laps.
Said I saved you 2
I said, yes, I did.
And now Jim Pullman can breathe on the pit box.
and I can breathe.
Boys, we still got gas. Let's go.
I still got gas.
Nemechek finishes second. Cole Custer comes home third. Austin Hill stayed fourth. Ty Gibbs sweeps the stages, finishes fifth. Parker Retzloff, Jeb Burton both in the top 10. Great day for Jordan Anderson Racing. Hocevar was 8th. Back-to-back top 10s for him. Brandon Jones, Sammy Smith complete the top 10.
Let's see how much gas he has. I'm thinking of burnouts in our future.
That's like a Smoky Unique fuel cell in that thing, I believe. It's got plenty of gas in there.
Yeah, that's a couple of laps worth of gas right there.
Yeah.
But that feels good. You know, Justin, they told Justin what to do, and he said, I can do just that.
Oh, totally, yeah. I mean, they had a plan, and they executed it, and he did a great job. I just can't help but think of John Hunter Nemechek letting him go now and thinking, oh, maybe I should have run a few more laps harder.
That was fun, guys.
Yeah, it was great. I love the suspense of those fuel mileage races.
2 big winless streaks ending here today at Charlotte. Ryan Blaney gets it done. Coke 600. It had been 59 races for him. 26 races for Justin Allgaier, who gets Junior Motorsports, their first win of 2023, and they have now gone back-to-back at Charlotte.
Beautiful Memorial Day paint scheme on that Unilever car. And look at that.
Perfect way to celebrate the American flag on Memorial Day.
I think they're chanting in the stands right now. Is that what they're
saying? USA, USA.
Oh, that's cool. That's a special moment right there for him.
20th career win, qualifies for the playoffs again.
That was intense.
Let's go to Josh.
Justin Allgaier gets his first win of the season, the first win of the year for Junior Motorsports. What was it like during those final laps as you had to conserve fuel to make sure you were in victory lane?
I'm speechless, man. You fans that stuck it out here tonight, thank you all so much. The USA chants, it's Memorial Day. We all know how important today is. just so proud of this team to have the round canopy parachute team on the car, to have the Defense Commissary Agency, Unilever, all the partners at Junior Motorsports. Just cannot say enough about Jim Pullman, everybody on this 7 team. It's not been for lack of speed this year, man. We've battled, and tonight was kind of the opposite. We had to go slow to go fast. You're just so proud of the Hendrick Engine Shop, everybody at Chevrolet, Brand Freshener Agriculture, just all of our partners. You guys, I can't even begin to tell you how long of a day it's been, how long of a weekend it's been. You guys all know this. Everybody that's at home that's watching, thank y'all so much. My wife, my kids are here. It's the first time my youngest daughter Willow gets to go to Victory Lane, and man, I can't tell you how much it means to me. I'm emotional, you know, as somebody that's grandfather was in the Navy, served in World War II. The round canopy parachute team actually left this morning to go to Normandy to do a jump in Normandy on D-Day in a couple of days. So just a lot of emotions tonight. Again, Jim Pullman, the guys on the 7 team, the pit crew. I know I'm rambling on here, but I'm speechless, man. I really am.
Thanks, Justin. Congratulations.